Let's take you live now to Queen's Park. The Premier is speaking to reporters. Let's listen in.
Seats in the Congress that are up for grabs. 20 of them are going to be Republican, a lot in Michigan. And as for the Supreme Court ruling, fortunate that we aren't affected as of right now. But things change on a daily basis, as everyone knows. President Trump could wake up and, a couple options. We move forward and we get a deal, or he might blow up the Kuzma deal. But we have to have plans for everything. And, I always say, and I've said this to the federal government, hope is not a strategy. A strategy is getting out there, making sure that we focus on our key areas of our economy, no matter right now if it's building out nuclear, cutting regulatory conditions that could take up to 18 years. We can't wait 18 years. We have to start looking at the red tape and regulations to cut those. We have to continue investing into companies by lowering taxes, making ourselves more competitive around the world, and especially with our friends south of the border. So we're all hands on deck. We're focusing on obviously nuclear, manufacturing, healthcare, skilled trades, along with the Ring of Fire. We have the largest conference in the world coming to Toronto at the beginning of March, and I encourage everyone, if you've never been to a mining conference, it's I'll tell you, it's spectacular. And I always say when I walk in that room every year, or the convention center, my jaw drops. Just seeing the whole world coming to Toronto and looking at all our critical minerals here in Ontario, that will lead the world. We're going to get shovels in the ground. I was getting pictures of excavators up in Webequie this weekend and backhoes, so they're ready to start building the road in the spring as quickly as possible. And we're going to continue investing into our infrastructure here in Ontario, the likes of which this province has never seen. It's up to $223 billion. We're upfronting as much as we can when it comes to building highways and roads and bridges and infrastructure on with the healthcare, on transit as well. So we'll keep investing because that keeps people moving, keeps jobs active. So that's our plan. We're doing everything we can to make sure that we protect the people of Ontario, protect their jobs, and protect their communities.
In your statement on Friday, twice you said you'll be willing to do whatever it takes to battle against the tariffs that remain in place. How does that differ from your approach to this?
Well, I don't think it differs. I think we got to create the environment and conditions for companies to come here. I just had a meeting with my Minister of Economic Development, Vic Fedeli. He's been traveling around the world. I give him all the credit in the world. I don't know how he does it. One day he's in Asia, next day he's in India. But he said the investments are still coming. They're still strong. And it all comes down to creating that condition, making sure we don't raise taxes. We have to lower taxes, which we have by $12 billion each and every single year. But our selling feature are our people. We have the most educated sector or group of people anywhere in the G7. And we have the brightest people anywhere. We have the ingenuity. We could be so self-sufficient and the wealthiest and the richest country in the entire world. But we have to create those conditions. We have to continue working with our federal counterparts and along with even our municipal counterparts. Get government out of the way, cut the red tape, cut regulations, make it easy for companies to come here and invest, because it's a competitive market we're in, not just against the U.S., but around the world.
It seems like that things change so much for Ontario.
You're right. Yeah, but you're 100% bang on that. The Supreme Court, it hasn't changed, thankfully. Anything here in Ontario or in Canada, we're still keeping an eye on Section 232. But make no mistake about it, President Trump still has a lot of tools. But I think it's the walls are closing in on President Trump. no matter if you saw him lose the vote and 6 Republicans cross the floor with Congress, then you saw the Supreme Court decision. We'll see how the Senate decision comes up, but I'm going to be on the phone full steam. And later on, I think in a month or so, I'm going to do a U.S. trip with the other governors. Governors are meeting, I believe, in Salt Lake City. Another group of governors, southeastern governors, along with other premiers, will be attending Salt Lake City, but I think that's closer to June. And then there's another meeting with the governors and premiers in South Carolina that will be down representing Ontario, along with other premiers and governors, and then as well as down in Texas as well.
Premier, do you think that Canada has to be prepared to walk away from the CUSMA deal altogether if it wants to have any leverage in these talks?
Well, I always say, no deal is better than a bad deal. But I think it's in the best interest of the American people. You're seeing inflation down there because prices are going up just because of these tariffs. And I've always said a tariff on Canada is a tax on the U.S. And I'm going to be spreading that message. Make no mistake about it. My media here is number one, but I have to get that message. I'll be going on with Wolf Blitzer on CNN, I think within the next hour, getting that message out there through CNN and other media outlets. People are listening. Down in the U.S., people are feeling the crunch. They don't see the prices going down with food and other goods. And that all has to come down to, the uncertainty that he's put around the world, but he's put against his number one customer in the world. I always remind him that 9 million Americans wake up every single day to build a product, a widget, or a service for Ontario alone, and they're going to feel the crunch.
Premier, in terms of
Public service workers who are back in the office.
Yes.
We got FOI letters from Treasury Board saying that it was never about productivity. From day one, you said that it was. Do you still believe that efficiency is?
I believe it's all about productivity, being here, looking at someone face to face. Maybe I'm from old school, but everyone's sitting there texting and going back and forth. I like looking at someone in the eyes and having that conversation, that broader conversation. So first of all, I want to say I appreciate the Ontario Public Service, and it's all hands on deck with them. It's faster, quicker, immediate. On every decision we make, we can't dilly-dally along anymore. When we make a decision to build X, Y, or Z, then we need to make sure we do it as quickly as possible. We're in an economic war right now, and we can't be lying back. It's not business as usual here. It's not running on government time. It's running on private sector time to make sure that we're competitive and we get our goods to market as quickly as possible.
Premier,
In terms of trade strategy, a bunch of countries that rushed to.
All right, we've been listening to the Premier speaking mostly about the changes in tariffs coming from the Supreme Court and them striking down those that don't really apply to Canada. But you did hear him say the walls he believes are closing in on the U.S. president when it comes to trade policy.